Hello, everyone. I'm Rishi, and I'm going to be taking you through what's probably a very interesting situation going on here in the northeastern United States. So I'm just going to get right into it because it's rather impressive what's been going on the last couple days. Now, this is a photo that I actually took just outside of my apartment complex here in Middlesex County, Massachusetts. And I'm sure that a lot of you in the Northeast are aware, but the sky may have appeared kind of milky yesterday. Almost like there's been a haze over the entire sky. The sun might have been a different color than usual. Although, especially over the last several hours, breathing has actually become a rather difficult thing for some. Um, and there really is only one major cause for these, and that is Canadian wildfires. They have been producing a lot of smoke, and it's all being funneled directly into our region. So here's a GIF that actually shows the last roughly 24 hours of the smoke. So you can kind of see that low pressure system that's kind of stalling over Nova Scotia, drifting westward over Maine, and that's what drew in the smoke initially yesterday. And you can see all that smoke being pulled in all over central North New York, as well as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Uh, and unfortunately, that's not going to be stopping anytime soon. So, air quality indices across the Northeast are very high in response to these wildfires burning across Quebec. And in fact, in some cities like New York City, the AQI has reached over 400, which is classified as hazardous for the general public to breathe. Now, the general public means anybody, not just infants, elders, those with COPD, asthma, or other respiratory illnesses. This is for everybody. This is a hazardous air to breathe. So, in fact, for a short time, I believe the time frame was a couple hours, at LaGuardia Airport, the visibility was so poor that they actually had to ground all flights just because of how dense the smoke was at the ground. So it really goes to show just how thick this smoke is and just how much you really should avoid going outside. And we'll get to that in just a moment. So here's a weather model. This is the HRRR. It actually does have a product called vertically integrated smoke, which basically all it does is it attempts to calculate how much particulate matter is above every square meter of the surface from from ground level all the way up to space or almost space. Usually it's only about 10 kilometers, but you could think of it as being the whole atmospheric column. And so what you can see here is basically it's a little tenuous to define, but you can think of it this way. Anywhere that you see a color that's not gray, it's generally not great. But green is still okay to breathe for most everybody. Once you start getting into the yellows or even darker into the reds, that's when it starts becoming an issue for those with respiratory illnesses. And especially if it gets a pink, that is hazardous to breathe. So this is from AirNow. This is basically showing a larger scale map of where all of the hazardous air is in place. You can see there's a good blob of hazardous air there by the Pennsylvania New York border, as well as a little bit toward the Pennsylvania New Jersey border. However, the major city that's being impacted right now, that's probably the talk of the town, is New York City. There is also a couple cities in southwestern Connecticut. I know Stamford is one of those that is approaching the high or the hazardous levels. And then there's a couple other cities in Pennsylvania as well. I believe Scranton is pretty close to that hazardous mark if it isn't in there already. So, best thing you can do is to limit your time outdoors, especially if you're in the hazardous areas. You need to be staying indoors as much as humanly possible. But if you do have to go outside, you need to wear protective face coverings. This can be, if in a pinch, putting your shirt over your face can do the job at least temporarily. But make sure that if you have any masks laying around from when COVID was at its highest, make sure that you bring that up, put that over your face again, and especially N95s because those are actually able to filter out smoke particles pretty well, surprisingly enough. So make sure if you have any of those laying around, you use those for the next couple days because unfortunately the smoke isn't really going to go anywhere, at least through the end of the week. So with all that being said, I do want to thank everybody for watching here. And remember, we do have our Discord, and we're actually going to be having a pretty big event here in a few weeks. So make sure to join the Discord if you want to hear about that. But we will be keeping you posted on how this situation develops over the next few days. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.